Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue the History NCERT series. Class 6 is going on and chapter 9. Actually chapter 8 up to Ashoka's life we have done. A small section in that chapter was actually missed by me. I'll show you in this particular video. And in order we are doing, so it will be good for you to understand the chronology. Okay, the Stone Age, the Indus Valley Civilization, then the Rigvedic, then the later Vedic age, then after that Buddhism, Jainism. Then we have seen this Mauryan Empire, okay, where Ashoka was there. Now we are closing to the end of before Christ era. So a lot of dynasty names were given in that previous chapter. It was actually, if you remember, we did the questions on Ashoka, that is the Ashoka chapter. These four questions were done. Please watch the previous video. And after this, actually, when I scroll down, they are showing a lot of maps. Okay, the Silk Route. I missed to show you this in the last video. That's why including it here. So maps about the Silk Route. This still it's not very much important. Like India, it will be there the next map. Like the Indian map at that time, and you know the Chinese Silk Route and all. So they are showing that particular route. That is what now China is again trying to rebuild. Okay, the One Belt One Road and the Maritime Silk Route. So this is one thing. But after this, again they have a table, okay, or a box actually. So here they are going to tell about lot of other other dynasties which are actually in the timeline, in the same timeline, or the future dynasties you can tell. And about this, I don't think in this class they have been discussing in another chapter. Maybe in the class 7th they'll take it up. So here in just a box they have told all the dynasties. So I thought I'll just read it out for you, okay, because it's important to understand the whole chronology or the story. So the Mauryan Empire collapsed about 2200 years ago. That is after Ashoka and after a few more kings. It collapsed, okay. In its place, someone has to come, right? So, and you know, Ashoka, what did he do? He was like adopting Buddhism, and now obviously the Brahmins will not like it, because before that, Brahmins were having this Varna system and all those. They had the supremacy. All the kings were giving them tribute. Uh, so Ashoka also used to do that, but still his Buddhism thing was not being entertained by the Brahmins. So actually, there's a person called I think Pushyamitra Sunga. Okay, it will be mentioned somewhere here. Pushyamitra Sunga. Okay, he finds the Sunga dynasty. Okay, he is a general in the Mauryan Empire only, and he is the one who starts the Sunga dynasty after the Mauryan collapse. You can tell. Okay, so that is one thing. But parallel to that, in some other place, you can tell in the western side, there was this Indo-Greeks entry also, okay, and they were followed by Central Asian people known as the Shakas. So you have to understand, like when Mauryan is collapsing, it's not like just one another dynasty directly comes up. After Mauryan, there are different dynasties coming up in different parts of India. So that one is this Indo-Greeks or the Shakas, which is in the northwest, north and western India, you can tell. And some of these kingdoms lasted for about 500 years, and till the Shakas were defeated by the Gupta. So later the Gupta will come. That we learn in detail in the other chapters, subsequent chapters. So then after the Shakas there is Kushanas. So you have to know this order also. Okay, after Maurya there is Shakas and Kushanas, and also the Sungas. And after all these things, the Guptas will come. So that is the flow. And here again, they are followed by another dynasty called the Kanvas. So if in case you need to know the chronology, this is the best table you will get. Okay, Shakas, Kushanas, and then Kanvas. Shunga was there parallelly. Then the Shakas, who ruled over parts of western India, fought several battles with the Satavahanas. So there's another parallel dynasty called the Satavahanas. Okay, important ruler is I think Gautami Putra Satkarni. We'll see that in subsequent classes. He's a very important ruler. And so again, western parts and central India. Satavahana kingdom, which was established around 2100 years, lasted for about 400 years. Not important. Then another dynasty is the Vakatakas. Okay, so I'm just trying to familiarize with you all these names. Okay, because we have to study this in the class 10, 11, 12 and all, which are very important for prelims also. Because ancient history, maybe only 2-3 questions will come, but they can pick it up from anywhere. So you should have a holistic ideas, and that is why these videos are being made. Because I know it's very difficult to read each and every textbook and make a note of all the terminologies. So in South India, apparently what was happening? All these things were north, south, central, west. Okay, north, west, and central. What about South India? There, this Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas were there. Okay, and they were also called the Movendar. That will be there in some chapter in future. Movendar in Sangam literature, it is the three things: the Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. Okay, actually Cholas will again re-emerge after a lot of centuries. Again Cholas will come. That is a different Chola, the Rajaraja Chola, Rajendra Chola, and all. But in the before Christ era also there was this Chola, Chera, and Pandya in the south. Okay, and Pallavas and Chalukyas are another. Pallavas, it's very important in the south. I think Kanchipuram was the capital, Okay, and Chalukyas, Aihole was the capital. Aihole and Badami are very important sites. Rock cuts and remains are there. We should go and visit it one day. It's in Karnataka. Aihole, Badami. Like later you will learn about Hampi also. Hampi is for the Vijayanagara dynasty remains. Okay, for every dynasty there will be remains which is being preserved in India, and most of them are cultural heritage sites also. So that is about them. Now they had their coins and inscriptions. That all we see when we learn Kushanas. Kanishka ruler is very important. Kanishka even did the presided over the Buddhist council. Not presided, he organized it. President was someone else. Okay, so these are the basic names or the different kingdoms which we have to deal in all the 7th, 8th standard or 9th standard, and we will be doing all of these. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this table. Now we will actually go to, also one more thing, if you see there are pictures. Okay, Indo-Greek coin, Kushana coin, Shaka coin, so Satavahana coin. So you should know, like any statement in UPSC like these people did not mint any coins or something, it will be false, because all these kingdoms had their own coins. Okay, Guptas, sorry, not Guptas, Mauryans also had their coins. That and all we'll see. Okay, so this is about this. Now we'll go to chapter number 9, which is the topic for today. So this is actually not about any dynasty. This is an intermediate chapter where they are telling about the villages, because we are talking a lot about the political aspect, the kingdoms, the dynasties and all. But what about the local people? So there are a lot of terminologies which UPSC keeps on asking. So I wanted to make you familiar with those things. Okay, and especially the Iron Age has started now. You know, after the Indus Valley civilization and all, Iron Age came into existence. People were having iron tools, iron weapons and all the things, and it was in plenty. Okay, iron plowshare, you know, plow and all was there even in the time of this thing, Indus Valley civilization. Plow was in use. So, but now it is iron plowshare. Okay, and then we'll see what else is there. Irrigation process. So, there are no factual things there. That's why I'm not reading. Whatever is needed for prelims, I'll read it out. And mains question, chances are very less about write about iron age civilization. Such a question is not going to come. So irrigation things are there, and here again labor is provided by the people. Farmers also benefit. They're just asking you to fill up these things that are very simple things. Kings needed money for armies, so they will tax the farmers. Then the farmers will have to do more and more production. Then irrigation was improved, revenue will be improved. But finally, it was beneficial for both farmer and the community and the kingdom. Okay, everyone has benefited because development is happening. Now this slide on this page onwards is very important. Okay, these terms in Tamil Nadu, Tamil region, the landowners were known as Vellalar. Okay, 3 terms: Vellalar, Pulavar, Kadaisiyar and Adimai. This is one and the same. Okay, Kadaisiyar and Adimai is for the slaves. Pulavar is for the ordinary plowmen. Vellavar is for the large landowners. So 3 terms they can put match the following. Okay, multiple terms we are going to learn in Chola dynasty and all. So this is the beginning of that. Okay, Vellalar, Ulavar and Kadaisiyar and Adimai. Okay, so these things you have to know, make a note of it in some Excel sheet or something. As and when I tell terminologies, fill up that Excel sheet, and later in one shot you can revise. Don't keep searching for these things in the textbook. Okay, so that is about 3 terminologies. Now we'll see what is next. In the northern part of the country, the village headman. Okay, now it's about the northern part of the country. Their village headman was called Grama Bojaka. Okay, and this full paragraph is about him, and there are a lot of facts. Okay, usually men from the same family held the position for generations. That is, it was a hereditary post. Okay, Grama Bojaka was a hereditary post and was often the largest landowner. Okay, this is in North India. There we saw it is Vellalar or something, and here it is Grama Bojaka. Okay, the landowner, largest landowner. And he had slaves and hired workers to cultivate the land, and he was very powerful. So king will use him for collecting the taxes from the villages. Okay, he also functioned as a judge and also sometimes as a policeman. So he was a very powerful person in the village headman, you can call Grama Bojaka in North India. Okay, now apart from Grama Bojaka, next one independent farmers is Grahapatis. Okay, Grama Bojaka we learned all these things. Next is Grahapatis. After Grahapatis, then one more term which we already seen in the previous chapter, Karmakara, that is the landless labor kind of people. Okay, and the Dasa is the slaves kind of people. So these are terminologies which we repeatedly, when we read or when you hear my video again and again, it will be registered in your mind. You don't have to worry, but you have to watch my videos and take it seriously. Okay, whatever I teach here. So earliest Tamil composition, Sangam literature, you know, very famous. Tamil is also one of the classical languages of India. There are 6 classical languages in India. Try to find out which is there other than Tamil and Sanskrit, which is the other 4. Try to find it out. And why it was called Sangam? Because they were like a group they assembled in groups. Okay, and then composed all these things. That is why it is called Sangam. even in Buddhist phase when we are learning, we learned about Gana, Sangha and all, okay, groupings. And these groupings happened in city of Madurai, okay. Even now they have lot of temples and lot of cultural gatherings. It's a very spiritual kind of city, you can tell. Tamil Nadu, most of the places are like that. Now, more details. Jataka tales, actually small boxes are given with lot of stories. Jataka is the stories related to Buddha or the past life of Buddha, you can tell. So the clever poor man. Okay, it's a very interesting story. You would have already read it if you are seen it in small textbook in younger classes and all. It's like a person who used to, what to say, he know how to make money. Okay, he know how to smartly make money without doing much of the work. So he very cleverly, you can tell. Okay, like in Akbar Birbal, you know the Birbal character is there, right? Like that, a person with a very smart brain, you can tell. So like first he wanted some money. So what did he had a dead rat or something which he got in a hotel. He just sold it. Sold it for 1 coin, okay, for a cat, for the cat of a hotel owner or something. So he got 1 coin. Next, actually, what happened is the king actually hired him for cleaning up the garden with a lot of branches, leaves, and all. What he did is he gave some chocolates or something to some kids, some sweets to some kids, and told like, how much ever sticks and leaves you bring, that much ever chocolates you will get. And that's a very like cheap offer. He can give very small thing, and what finally he'll get is he'll get a big reward from the king. Okay, so he's like investing little and getting back more. So it's a story about that person. Again, one grass cutter thing is there. One grass actually a person will come to the city with a horse or something. So he had an agreement with the grass cutters like, you give me the grass and you should not sell it until what is it? Nobody else buys it or something. Not very important. I'm just going through it. I'm just reading. I have not read it from this textbook. That is why I don't know. But seeing the context, I remembered like this is a story. That's why I told. Anyway, leave it. I think we are wasting time over here. We'll continue to the content. So again, here about lot of structures they are mentioning. Mahajanapadas. Hope you remember the term. Jana was people. Vysh was community. Janapada was the like community as a whole, or the territory of the land in which the people are residing. Okay, so Mahajanapadas were huge kingdoms, and I showed you a map also in the previous chapter. So again, Sanchi Stupa, I told you in the last chapter, it's in Madhya Pradesh, and a lot of structures that have been shown, carvings have been shown, but takeaway pots, ceramic rings, etc. have been found. And there's something called ring wells, okay, which they found like they seem to have been used as toilets in some cases, and drains and garbage dumps. Okay, so ring wells, if you get a question, it's actually not a well kind of thing. It is actually toilets, drains, garbage dumps. Okay, that is, and it's found in individual houses. That is about ring wells. Then okay, we'll proceed. Again a story. I'm not going to again waste your time reading these stories. Coins is very important. This year mains there was a question on numismatics, and many people didn't even know what is numismatics. It is about the coinage. Okay, luckily if you read the Hindi translation of the question, you will get the idea, because there was something like Maudri Karan or something, and Sikka, the word was like that. So you could have understood, if you know Hindi, you would have understood the meaning of the question. Okay, about the Gupta age, I think numismatics of the Gupta age was the mains question for 10 marker. So earliest coins which I used were about 500 years and were punch marked coins. I have showed you in the previous chapter also, and it was made of silver or copper. Okay, the initial punch mark coins were made of silver or copper. Later we learned gold coins and all. Like Kushanas were the ones who issued the maximum gold coins. Guptas had a lot of gold coins. I think Guptas were the first. I think I don't remember, but we'll see. Okay, so again a poem kind of thing. We don't need it. And then city, Mathura city, they are telling important settlement more than 2500 years ago. It was important because it was located at the crossroads of two major routes of travel and trade, from the northwest to the east, and from north to south. So they are telling about the location of Mathura, and fortification around the city, several shrines. Then Mathura was the center where some extremely fine sculpture was produced. Okay, later I think we learned the Gandhara art, we learned the Mathura art and the Amaravati art and all, sculptures especially, and they have their own features. Okay, even the Buddha in Gandhara, it will be depicted in the more of Greekish style, because it's in the western side of India. You can imagine external influence will be there. Mathura is still within Indian mainland, and so it had the Indian touch of it. So Gandhara, Mathura difference also have been asked in UPSC, so you should know the basic differences about it. Okay, I think they'll have pictures also when we learn about it in detail. So Mathura became the second capital of the Kushanas. Okay, so you should know that, and that's in different chapter. But Mathura was a religious center also. Okay, Buddhist monastery was there, Jaina shrines were there, and worship of Krishna. So all three are there. Okay, like our Ellora caves, three religions are there for at Mathura. Okay, Mathura is a holy city, you can tell. Even Palestine now, which is in the news, Israel-Palestine issue, three religions are claiming for that place, and all the problems are happening: Muslims, Christians, and the Jews. Okay, now inscriptions from the Mathura mention goldsmith, blacksmith, weaver, basket makers, and garland makers and perfumers. So there are a lot of occupations being followed by the people at Mathura. Craft and craft person. So again, fine pottery, and here is a new term: northern black polished ware. Okay, if you try to recall, in the Indus Valley and the Rig Vedic period, there was red and black. Okay, then the later Vedic period, we had the grey painted pottery, and now we have the northern black polished ware. Okay, NBPW, like that will be mentioned in most of the textbook and in many notes and all. In Nitin Sikania notes and all, you can find that northern black polished ware. Okay, so try to relate like this when you study something. Try to see the chronology of what was there in the previous ages. Okay, so it's got its name because it was in the northern part of the subcontinent, and it is black in color and fine sheen. Okay, sheen means brightness. Okay, so that is the northern black polished ware. Now, manufacture of cloth was important. Famous centers were Varanasi in the north, Mathura in the south. Okay, even now we have that places very rich in craft works. Okay, another important term, Shrenis. Shrenis actually meaning guild. You can tell guild is like the group or association of the merchants. Okay, that is Shrenis. They provided training, procured raw material, distributed the finished products. Then Shrenis of merchants organized the trade, and they also served as banks. Okay, so these kind of statements UPSC will put, which of the following are true, or what is Shrenis related to. So you should know all these things. Rich men and women deposited deposited money, and this was invested, and part of the interest was returned or used to support religious institutions such as monastery. Okay, so money is invested, and whatever is getting in return is spent for religious institutions. So this is about Shrenis. Rules for spinning and weaving. I don't think it is important. From the Arthashastra, they are giving a lot of information about spinning and weaving. Okay, now we'll see Arikamedu. Arikamedu is again a place, very important place in Puducherry. Okay, that is in Tamil Nadu now, right now. So it is famous for the trade. Okay, coastal settlement where ships unloaded goods from distant lands. Okay, I think even trade with Rome was there. South India mostly they had trade and rich trade with Rome. And a massive brick structure which may have been a warehouse was found at the site. Other finds include pottery from the Mediterranean region, such as the amphorae. Okay, it's a double-headed tall jar. So it's telling about the trade item, and that contain liquids such as wine or oil. Okay, so amphorae, just remember that thing. Amphorae is a jar which used to hold wine or oil. Okay, and stamped red glazed pottery known as eretinware. I'm not able to pronounce again. Amphorae and eretinware. Okay, two things which these people traded. So there was yet another kind of pottery which was made locally, though Roman designs were used. Roman lamps, glassware, and gems had also been found at the site. So a rich trade, you can tell, with the Romans at the Arikamedu site in Pondicherry. Small tanks have been found that were probably dyeing vats used to dye cloth. There is plenty of evidence in the making of beads, semi-precious stones, and glass. Okay, so India was a very rich country also that time. Try to hear Shashi Tharoor's speeches. He will explain more about all these things. Like India used to do rich trades with all the Western nations. Tamil Brahmi inscriptions is shown here. Several pieces of pottery which was used to write Tamil. Okay, so elsewhere at this time Rome was also developing, obviously because we are talking about Rome trade. At this time Rome was also one of the finest and oldest city of that time. Okay, and the trade was spread across almost all the countries. City of brick, Rome a city of brick, and made it a city of marble. Okay, they are telling how transformation happened. Okay, by Augustus, one of the most important emperors of the time. Okay, Augustus is, you would have heard stories or you would have seen cartoons, movies or something about it. So that is about the entire chapter here. Okay, now here we have MCQ kind of thing. Ring wells were used for, don't worry about this 1, 2, 3, 4, it's actually ABCD only one will be right. Ring wells were used for drainage. Okay, we saw like drainage, toilets and all those things. Panchma coins were made of silver and copper. We have seen this already. Then Mathura was a village port. It was a religious center. We told that 3 religions were there. Shrenis were association of craft person. Okay, here timeline: beginning of the use of iron ore 3000 years ago, then again iron cities, punchmarked coins, that is 2500 years ago, Sangam literature 2300 years ago, and Arikamedu 2200 years ago. This is the order of events. Okay, iron, then punched coins, then Sangam literature, then Arikamedu. So slowly chronology we are learning. These questions and all can be very important questions also, like compare the days. So this is not the one. I thought it's comparing between ages. Here functions of Gram Bojika, we have seen lot of points about him. He was a very important personality in the village. Okay, so like this, try to get hold of all the crucial topics in ancient history. Once you learn, it will be registered there. Okay, whatever question comes, we can deal it then. Okay, so I'll come up with the next video soon. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.